been playing Dishonored 2. Dishonored is probably one of top like 30 game for me. But playing the game and the first game, usually with stealth games, I get really, really obsessed with not being seen at all. And in a lot of these games, you actually have the choice of either tackling full stealth or going in guns blazing, or doing a little bit of both. So a lot of these games, like the Deus Ex games, Metal Gear Solid, specifically Metal Gear Solid 5, I guess in a more recent example, Dishonored, and various others, uh, Splinter Cell, they give you the choice of either stealthing the game or just going in guns blazing. But for just depending on the game, especially with Dishonored, if I don't stealth these games, I feel like I'm playing them. And where with Dishonored 1, I tried to ghost the entire game. With this game, I'm playing with the goal of platinuming the game. And usually with you can go to like platinumtrophies.com, and they give you like the minimum amount of playthroughs you can play to like optimize the platinum trophy. So playthrough 1, they're telling me go in no powers, and just high chaos, which means the more people you kill, your chaos meter goes up. You probably get the bad ending. And I've never played Dishonored this way, including all the DLC, which I played for the first one. So I'm going in here, immediately getting spotted, and just like kind of shooting and stabbing everyone. And I just feel like I'm playing this game wrongly, and I feel bad. Like it's kind of slightly souring my experience on the game. It's just this type of game, although they give you the option to go in there. Or let's just say you tried to stealth the game and then you were caught, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to pull my knife and my powers out, just wreck shit.
Right.
But just for me, Dishonored is a game that you should be going in there unseen and doing your business, assassinating someone, and getting out that you're there. So yeah, I feel weird about playing this game this way, and that's why I brought up the topic. So before I jump in myself with Dishonored, I guess I'll ask either you, Keith or Matt, what game in recent memory or just in general have you played that you felt like, although the game gave you the option to play it a certain way, you felt like that was not the game should be played for?
Sorry, I'm just going to have to admit why I'm laughing. As I just when you said you were breaking in there doing assassinations, just doing your business, the toilet humor just clicked in my brain. It's like not only have you broken into someone's castle, you've gone for a dump in the corner and then killed everyone.
Why not? Why not? It's like the sticky bandits, right? Wet bandits.
Oh man, first appearance of a Home Alone reference.
All right, keep it going if we can.
Yeah,
don't force it.
I had this similar experience to you with the original Dishonored, because I thought I would really like the original Dishonored, and I liked it a lot less the more I played it, because I felt not that I was getting penalised for playing things, and I know I spoke with way back when. Wow, back in 2017, in the annals of history, when I first came on Podcast Reload with you and Vin, I was saying I felt like I was being penalised by not getting as much XP for doing certain things in the original Dishonored. And
you don't get XP in those games. Maybe you're thinking
whatever. There was some kind of the reward, or no, what am I thinking of? I was thinking of the Deus Ex, yeah. And that my feeling of that kind of creeped into playing Dishonored as well. So whilst you don't, I want to play a game and enjoy it. I don't want to have to play a game and think, if I do this, then something might happen. I've got to change the way that I would normally play something.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of put me off a little bit, because, and the whole thing about having the good ending, you need to completely stealth the game to get the good ending. Well, that's not really telling people. That's basically saying if you play any other way, you're playing it wrong.
Yeah, and it's not about the decisions you make in the game. It's just because if you kill too many people. So.
Yeah, and you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many is too many?
Right.
No,
Well, it's
yeah.
also annoying that, yeah, if you want to stealth a level, if you're seen, there's no stat menu that you can check to see if you were seen or not. So when I was trying to go for Platinum in Dishonored, I got through a level, and I could have sworn that I was never seen. And then when all the stats popped up for the mission, it said I was seen once. It's like, well, I got to play the entire mission again because there's no stat menu here that I can kind of check to see if I was seen or not. That's a totally different story, but yeah, I mean, Dishonored is like the highlight of these games that make you feel like if you're killing people, you are doing this game wrong, or at least if you're infiltrating a location to assassinate a target and you're seen playing the game incorrectly.
So we're specifically talking about because when I corrected myself, and thank you very much for helping me get there. For Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex is much more forgiving in that sense.
Okay.
Now, Now, Evan, this was played on a thing called a personal computer.
Okay. All right. Yes.
So
I'm following you.
This uses a mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
A concept which you may be familiar with work, but otherwise in gaming you may be totally alien to you.
That's like that oval thing that when you move it, like the funny little arrow pointy thing was on the screen, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's called a mouse, but it doesn't eat cheese. It's weird, I know. But the original Deus Ex.
You like cheese?
Yeah.
You know where I'm from.
Yeah, I do. I'm watching you. The original version of that game is much more forgiving in when you choose your playstyle than the newer iterations. The newer iterations are much more set up for you stealth this or you're doing it wrong. And whereas the original game and even the sequel that came out on PC and the original Xbox,
Invisible War,
Invisible War, they were much more balanced in the sense of if you want to build your build out and play total stealth, you can do. But if you want to do a build out that's completely assault, you can do that as well. Whereas in the later iterations, it was just I know you said you enjoyed not Human Revolution. What was the Mankind Divided? I played through.
Wait, which one's first? I always get these
Human
confused.
Revolution was first, and then Mankind Divided was after.
Yeah.
Okay, I just finished Mankind Divided last month.
I hated Mankind Divided. Hated it. Yeah, because
they balanced that system out a bit more. You didn't get as much experience for ghosting or stealthing. At least that's what I call. But you do get extra.
It still seemed to me like there were certain areas of that game where they said you can play this full-out assault, but that's not how the level was actually designed. Because there's so many ways that you can creep round all this shit that if you go in and you get spotted and you start shooting stuff, I got the second area in the bloody train station trying to sneak through that. I got spotted, and it's kind of right. That's it. Everyone knows where I am. Everyone's shooting at me. And this just isn't fun anymore.
I saved scummed the shit out of that game. I ended up beating it without. I got the gold trophy for not killing a single person. But
that's the thing. So, do you really think that save spamming is fun?
With Dishonored and Deus Ex, those two games in particular, I save scum all the time. I actually don't mind it, but I can see where it would get in the way. It's like, what am I doing? Like, is this fun? Like, this isn't the way the games are supposed to be played. So I do get that.
Do we want to let Matt say anything, or should we just
I don't know.
Going?
Just patiently waiting over here in the corner.
Do we?
Well, I was gonna say, like with Dishonored, I don't feel like I was forced into playing it a certain way, or I didn't feel like I was playing it wrong when I was just a crazy mystical ninja murdering everybody.
Wait, how did you play it, by the way?
Both. So the first playthrough that I did, and I think Evan, you and I have talked about this before. The first playthrough, I just fucking murdered everybody. Didn't care. Got to the end and was like, holy shit, this last level is super hard. Went through and was like, okay, well, maybe I should try it stealth this time. Reallocated the way that I was using the powers. And then got to the last level and was like, wow, this is way different. Not nearly as many enemies that I have to worry about and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
almost as if the people building the game and designing the game had made it that way.
Well, no, so the way that I would say it's a nice way to balance it though, because if you are going through the entire game murdering everybody, the expectation is that that aspect of the gameplay will continue to ramp up and be harder, right? Like the combat will just continue to increase. And I feel like even though there's not as many enemies, the stealth is a little bit harder because it's now daylight. There's not as many places to hide, so it ramps up, in difficulty on the stealth side as well. So I don't feel like playing it one way or the other.
I didn't realize that the more you killed people, the tougher it got later in the game.
Yeah,
so it was just that's how it was. And
no, so when you just murder everybody, the last level is very dark and rainy, and there's just like
full of rats and
it's like 10 times more enemies. So it's a lot more difficult.
I did not.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like that particular game makes you play.
I guess it's kind of a mindset, right? Like it bothered me because I felt like I should be stealthing it, but like in Dishonored 2, there's a part you go to the island that was from. It's just south of Dunwall. Whatever, it's not important. But you go there and you're Emily Caldwell, like you're the Empress of Dunwall. It's just across the strait, and you're walking through like this kind of fishing port, and everyone's like, "Wow, you have." They actually literally like, "Oh wow, mask on." Like what? Like you know that I'm Emily Caldwell. I'm the. It's like there's that line in one of the I think the Batman Begins. He's like, "You're Bruce Wayne. You'd have to travel 500 miles before anyone didn't know your name." And
Right.
it's like, I'm walking through the city in broad daylight, holding my mother's heart that's tied to this like otherworldly realm and a knife, and I have a mask on, and it's like everything's okay. It's like, no, I should be going through the shadows. No one should know I'm here. I should be getting. So there's a bit of a narrative link to this issue with, especially or specifically with Dishonored with this. But talking about stealth games where I didn't feel this way, two games in particular, Splinter Cell Blacklist and Metal Gear Solid 5. And with Blacklist, have either of you played Blacklist?
I got to the prison level and then said, "Fuck this game." But I loved it. I loved it up until that point.
far.
You didn't get that far. You didn't like it.
I was just I played some of the more stealth focused Splinter Cell games, and then I'm probably the person most detested for actually thinking that Conviction was more fun.
Okay, I've only ever played Blacklist, so I can't really say anything about that. Did Conviction have the 3 levels of play where you were rewarded at the end of the level for like full on assault, super stealth, and then some Panther style?
Can't remember.
Okay.
I want to say
well,
that
this
that
one
was.
reason
I want to say that was introduced either in Blacklist or the one right before it.
Okay, so I've only ever played Blacklist, but I love the idea of them rewarding you for the middle ground. So when you you tried your best to stealth the game, when you were caught, it was like, okay, I'll take these guys out, and still like, all right, you played Panther style, so just giving you some sort of somewhere in between, and not this black and white, this binary kind of system, really helped me get over the fact, because I get pretty, especially with stealth games, like if I'm not ghosting these games, I feel like I'm fucking it up. So Blacklist definitely helped me get over that issue I have specifically with stealth games, by introducing like, no, it's okay to play that way. We're going to reward you specifically for playing that way.
All right, Evan, I'm going to give you veto rights on the next game that I'm going to mention.
Okay, shoot.
Star Trek Judgment Rights.
My God,
he doesn't even know what that game is, Keith.
Are you just going to talk about Star Trek, or does it have some topic?
It's a DOS game.
Evan doesn't know what DOS is. Topic.
I know what DOS is, you fucks. All right.
I didn't say anything. That was him. I get blamed for all this shit.
Jesus Christ. Hashtag fucking patronizing. All right. If it, I trust that Star Trek has something to do with the topic at hand.
Right.
Sir, you have the floor.
It's a point-and-click adventure game, mashed up with some kind of space battles, but there's elements within the point-and-click bit that the way they do it is sometimes quite funny, and it appeared, the thing that made me think about it, it appeared on an outside Xbox list about red shirts and getting red shirts killed. There are certain things in this game where you can, there's a pile of rocks in front of a door that you need to get to. Now you can just take out your phaser and blast the rocks, but one of the rocks will crush your red shirt.
Okay.
And you can do that. It's quite funny. One of the very early levels, you start off in a prison cell, and you can get Spock to kind of break into the electronics of the prison and shut down the force field that's keeping you there, or you can get Captain Kirk to kind of sweet talk his way out of the cell, or you can.
That's pretty good. I mean.
Or you can. I think that if you walk into the shield that's holding you there enough times, you'll pass out, and Dr. McCoy has to run and get the guard to shut down the shield. So it's one of these ones where they've set it up that you can have multiple playstyles, but each one is equally ridiculous.
Sure.
Okay.
So you feel okay with any choice that you make.
Yeah, because the original series was kind of like that. So I was like, oh no, we've killed our security officer, and everyone just moved swiftly on.
Sure.
So, Ensign, what's his name's dead. Well, okay, whatever. So I thought that was quite a good example of where choice isn't impacted on your sense of how you play it, because any scenario is equally ridiculous.
Right.
So simple things like you can set your phasers to stun or kill. So if you end up in a shootout, you can kill your enemies or you can stun them, and that will have repercussions down the line. But really, it's if someone's shooting at me, I'm shooting back. Especially if they're from Wisconsin and trying to force feed me cheese. I don't want your cheese.
You're fucking living the dream. Hey, Wisconsin has won world cheese competitions. Don't get all fucking snooty about your European cheese.
The image of somebody force feeding cheese. Just...
and also the image of someone being force fed cheese and not wanting to. That just doesn't. There's a block there. I don't understand how that works.
So obviously you don't know any vegans.
No, right, I just picture Homer in hell when he's being fed the donuts and they think they're torturing him, but yet he will not stop eating the donuts and they don't understand. That's cheese. Cheese is that thing.
Right. So there's another Star Trek mention.
Oh my God, there's another game that has this.
No, that was the other Star Trek mention. We've mentioned Star Trek earlier in the intro.
I got it.
I know it's late when you are.
Yeah, it's a bit late. It's all right. It's a Saturday night, technically Sunday morning now.
But
Matt, I have one more example of a game that does the choice thing better, at least, than how I feel about Dishonored. Do you have anything else before I jump in there?
No, my next example is one where you have to play it a certain way, otherwise you're totally screwed.
Okay, so I'll be very brief with this one. Metal Gear Solid 5. So one great mechanic that Metal Gear Solid introduced, and this probably is from all the criticism of the Metal Gear Solid games, where you're not really sure if you're in someone's vision cone or not, and there's no like meter, awareness meter that will indicate like if someone can see you or not, and there's no time in between there where you can kind of figure out how close you are to someone, and it's just like they see you and boom, the whole area goes on alert and you're screwed type of thing. So one thing they introduced in Metal Gear Solid 5 is if someone sees you, time slows down and you have like a solid 3-second window to take that guard out before they know. And that is such a nice thing to do.
Quality of life measure.
This? Yeah, like a quality of life measure for the player. It's one of those things. It's like, why didn't anyone introduce this in a stealth game before, type of thing. And it just gives you that extra buffer zone to where in a lot of these games, even in Dishonored, like there's no really vision cones, so you know you're standing in an alleyway and there's a guy off in the distance. He's looking towards you. In real life, he'd be able to see you, and I'm holding a heart and a knife, and I have a mask on. Like, how fucking suspicious? You couldn't be more suspicious than that. And you're Emily Caldwell. That'd be like if Donald Trump had a heart and a knife in his hand and he had a mask on. It's like, that's fucking Donald Trump, right? It doesn't matter if you have the mask on. So it doesn't connect with the video game world because like I don't know how close I can get to him before he can see me, type of thing. So Metal Gear Solid 5 remedies that with like, okay, you don't really know, but once you're seen, we'll give you a chance to take them out so you can keep your stealth. And so that was a very welcome addition to that game. I wish more games did that, especially when stealth is kind of the way that they're nudging you to play the game. Yeah, it seems a bit more fair.
I'm really looking forward to what Matt's going to be saying, because the whole time you were talking, he was kind of thoughtfully stroking his beard.
Well, I was thinking about.
I know where I'm going next.
No, I was thinking about having that 3-second delay, and I was trying to think if there were any other games that kind of did that.
Right. I mean, I tried to think myself. I couldn't.
But the original Metal Gear Solid, you did have the vision cones, and it was top down, more or less. So it was easy to sort of pick out the path around all of the enemies. But you still had...
you are right. I'll backpedal on that a bit. Yeah, at least if you weren't in the white of the vision cone, you weren't going to get seen.
Right. And I think 2 did that as well. Had a similar radar system, if I'm not mistaken.
But still, in those games, there'd be situations where you'd like stumble. Huh? Oh, fuck. Dun, 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 and then you're like scrambling around.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there was still a brief moment after the exclamation point hit that you could like take them out and it wouldn't alert. It wouldn't go to full, red alert.
Yeah, but it was pretty fucking brief.
Yeah.
Dude, like, and thank God we're over, or at least most games are over. If one guard sees you, every guard in the entire area is automatically. He didn't even fucking get on his radio. He didn't radio that shit in. How does the guy like 5 screens away know where the hell I am?
Just telepathically linked.
Yeah. I've got an old school one.
Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Stealth mechanics?
No, for you feel like you're playing the game wrongly. So Sonic is meant. So you think fast? Yeah, and quite a lot of that game, for some of the sections, it's actually better to go slow to go fast, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you think you need to speed through those levels and spin jump and all over the place, when actually in some of the later levels, you're better off treating it like a slow-paced platformer.
I think that was intentional because like Green Hill Zone is you just speed through it. All three levels that you can go, or all three paths of the level, will take you to the end and not a big deal. And then Marble Hill, is it Marble Hill or Marble Zone, the second one?
Marble something.
Yeah, that you have to slow down because of the lava and all that stuff.
It is a bit annoying though. It's like the game is constantly like flicking you. No, stop.
And
Yeah,
then,
no, go back.
You're meant to be fast, but don't do it.
Right.
Don't.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, you get into the casino ones, the casino levels, and then you're immediately going fast again. And I think
Great music, by the way.
if I'm not mistaken, the world that's after the casino levels
It's Sonic Spinball.
No, it's not. But the world after that, those levels, you have to pick and choose and go slow. Otherwise, you'll like end up in the water and be trapped.
Those levels are but no, that is a good addition to that. Yeah, I mean it's so different from the Mario games, and it's like go fast, but not really, not all the time.
Right.
Oh, spikes! You didn't see that coming, did you? It's like it's kind of annoying. Which is why I never was really a huge. But anyways, Matt, what was your final addition to this?
Have either of you played Into the Breach yet?
No.
Do you know what the game is?
I'm very familiar with it.
Okay. All right. It's a tactics game by the guys that did FTL. So
just brutal difficulty punished
something
for
like
making
that.
wrong moves, that type of thing.
Yeah, but so if you don't know anything about the game, you kind of go into it and you're like, oh, it's a tactics game. Okay, so let me just play this like I would play Final Fantasy Tactics or Disgaea or anything like that. And very quickly you get penalized for approaching the game like that. And you do feel like I'm definitely playing this wrong, trying to make moves the way that I would in any other tactics game. I don't know, it's interesting because once you actually figure it out and you're like, oh, it's not tactics, it's chess. It's
okay. You know what? Yeah, knowing what I know about that game, that seems like
and you only have 3 units, so each unit has to be used in very unique ways, or you have to combo off of other units. But I don't know. It was interesting because the first time that I got through a full run of that game, because it is like a roguelike, the first time I completed a full run and I actually got to the end credits, I was like, holy shit! It was so rewarding because the way that I had been playing it, and once I figured it out and just got through a run, I don't know. That's my example. I feel like a lot of people had that problem when they picked up the game. It was like, you're definitely playing this wrong.
I mean, it does seem like a game that once you wrap your head, it does. It's kind of contradictory. I was gonna say once you wrap your head around it, it does a good job of telling you what you're supposed to do, which actually doesn't make any fucking sense.
English teacher people.
Yeah, hey, I'm teaching. There are. All right,
okay.
I ain't a rocket scientist. I don't know what the fuck I am.
You don't want a rocket scientist to fly your planes.
Exactly. That's what my dad always used to tell me. Yeah. Good. Hanging out in the bars, waiting to go home. Dad, it's 12 a.m. I have school.
This went off on a
super dark right now.
Yeah.
But okay. I mean, not everything is with stealth games. Like I think very briefly, how did you guys play the Mass Effect games? Did you go Paragon or
Renegade?
Yeah, Renegade, I'm always Renegade.
No, you you both know how many hours I've pumped into those games, even Andromeda.
Yeah.
So
I personally always thought like just Shepard is a fucking paragon through and through. Like, it seems silly to be a renegade in that sense. It seemed a bit jarring to like what he was trying to get done.
Yeah,
but also being a fucking asshole
punching
about it.
Punching that reporter is so satisfying though.
Oh yeah, it is. But I did that. I did that on my second playthrough, which was the Renegade playthrough.
Of course, you did.
But if you actually take some of the dialogue in that game, because I kind of get where Evan's going with this. If you take some of the wider narrative, it doesn't. Some of the choices that you make in terms of a Renegade choice don't quite make sense in the overall narrative.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of it, actually everything you've done, the green ending is the real ending.
That's the synthesis.
Yeah.
That's
meant to be the proper ending.
Which I think is like total bullshit, because it's about this whole universe of like these multicultural, like all these people, and it's like, no, everyone's exactly the fucking same.
Well, they wouldn't be. You'd still have your own species individuality. It's just that you're now linked in with both biological and synthetic, rather than everyone is now the same. For fuck's sake!
But this is around the same time where all these games are coming out with like, hey, there's a choice depending on what you do in the game. The ending changes. Like the Infamous series was like that as well, but it's just like I played those games. I'm like, I'm not a bad guy. Like this Cole or whatever the fuck his name was, he's not a bad guy. So like you're giving me this binary choice, but it just doesn't really fit the character. But I guess it was novel at the time where you had this choice, like depending on what you do, you have this meter that's being pushed one way or the other. But even like Red Dead Redemption 2 did that, and like Arthur Morgan is not a bad person. Like he's troubled. That was super jarring too. It's like there's no way. Like, why is there this meter? Get rid of that shit. That's like some fucking old like Mass Effect Infamous stuff. I don't understand why they had that to begin with.
Was there another game in the Mass Effect universe that I missed out? Mass Effect Infamous.
Oh, I would definitely prefer to play that game over Andromeda. You that.
You need to calm down on the Red Dead 2 talk, because there's been requests. So whenever you get your shit together, put the call out on.
Never. Well, okay, we might be waiting for quite a while. Oh, definitely, because I played 110 hours of that game.
Yeah. If you guys kind of indulge me, I've got another one that's kind of something it was my fault though.
Okay.
So I was playing the game wrongly, and I haven't played. I played a bit of The Witcher 2, didn't like it. I played a bit of the Gwent beta, and then realised that it was free to play bullshit. So kind of pack that in. But then I've been playing quite a lot of Thronebreaker, so the story based Gwent game. And I was fucking up royally when I first started playing that game, because when you enter into a battle, kind of how video games are normally set up is to kind of kill everyone, wipe the other characters off the board,
right, and
then you progress. But obviously Gwent, having not played loads of it in any of the Witcher games, I'd forgotten from playing the beta, it's not actually set up like that. So by me playing on my cards to wipe everyone else off the board meant I lost the next 2 rounds because I had no cards to play.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was that
so
one.
You're saying you just can't burn all your cards.
No,
saying, right?
So you need to realize that there's a point that you just say, I'm not going to win this. I'm just going to give up this round.
Right.
To kind of hold back your units. So it's kind of got this strategy element to it. But when I first started playing it, I was like, what the hell's going on? I've just killed everyone. Why aren't I winning?
Right.
And it's because I was playing it wrongly. So that one was on me. And now I've actually kind of got in the groove of playing it, it makes much more sense now. If someone's really kind of stacking stuff early on, I'm just going to save my units, and I'm going to forfeit the first round, and then I'm going to come back and smash you in the next two. But
I do remember going through that while playing The Witcher 3 for the brief time that I played Gwent. But yeah, it's that is that's a strategy thing too. You know, when you like, especially with card games, when you feel like you've got it all figured out, and then there's actually another layer there where it's like, actually no, you're playing like basic level. Once you get deeper into the strategy, there's like a better / more correct way to play it, if you will. And I guess that translates into a digital card game.
Yeah.
I had another game to talk about, but it's totally slipped my mind.
It's all right.
Can't help you there.
I was going to go into how much I hate digital card games, but we'll leave it for another episode.
All right. Well, and digital card games, and this is why I'm liking Thronebreaker more than I like Gwent. So the Gwent card game was purely set up to be free to play, pay to win bullshit.
Right, but Thronebreaker's $20 or whatever, and you just get all the cards.
I got it in a sale. I said to Evan, I got it for, I think it was $10.99 in a sale, and I'm getting much more value from it than I paid for it.
Okay, that's fair.
I've remembered what I was going to say. So a game that I've played where the game made me feel like I was playing it wrongly. Any modern Madden game or any game from EA that's released where they have loot boxes or Ultimate Team.
You feel like you're playing it wrong by not buying all the loot boxes?
Well, they're trying to force you to make you feel like you're playing it wrongly by not buying all the loot boxes.
Right.
So that's my EA bashing for.
It's not an episode of the Beerumverate if we don't bash EA a little bit.
Yeah, because it is, especially the sports games. It is just so set up, and I know I've said it so many times, and I'm going to keep saying it. But every time you get a load screen in Madden, it's just kind of buy the packs, play Ultimate Team to earn more money to buy more packs. And,
right.
Oh, yeah, we know you're playing franchise mode, but have you thought about playing Ultimate Team? Have you thought about buying packs? It's just literally everything, which is why I mentioned last time or the time before that when the SSDs come in the new consoles, what are they going to do?
Right.
Because the rumor or the conspiracy theory I came up with is they're going to lobby for subliminal advertising to come back. Because if the loading screens now go from 15-20 seconds to 0.8,
I think the commentators are just going to start talking about it during the normal game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the next thing.
It's going to show up instead of the. Does NFL use beer?
The highlight reel. Yeah, as opposed to a highlight reel, it's going to have sponsored by Madden Ultimate Team in the corner.
No, but does NFL have like beer advertising?
Yeah, in the actual games they do. You can't. I don't think you can do that in the video game version.
Ah, okay. But yeah, like instead of the Tecate thing on the side, it's going to be Ultimate Team, right?
Yeah. So as opposed to
what are you guys talking about?
I was trying to keep the conversation going. So I'm like, what the fuck is Evan doing? Like he just left.
I think we were talking about something, right? Not sure.
Right, if we're getting into this shit, I'm joining in.
I do have to fix my roof at some point today.
Right. Well, we can end the episode whenever.
I'm not. Well, I mean, I've got to see what the hell Keith's gonna pull out of the closet at this point.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is very true.
But no, so we were just talking about. Keith was saying how he feels like he was playing Madden wrong or incorrectly because he wasn't doing Ultimate Team. Like the game forces you to feel like if you're not doing that, then you're not playing it properly.
Yeah, I mean, this is the nature of the beast with those types of games, which is as much of a NFL fan as I am, and I always have been. I've never been interested in those games, but that's not to say anything about playing sports games. I guess it's just something that's almost inherent to those games now, because of how
Right.
They've
Just
pushed towards
how ingrained
designing those games.
Yeah, how ingrained the quote unquote gambling element is.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where we've gone with it. But yeah,
I mean,
no, it's a balancing, because you do want to give the player choice, but with that, that's more of like monetization and how they figure in the game with getting money out of the players versus a game where, okay, we have a story with a single we have a single story we want to tell, but we want to give you choices that bring you to ultimately relatively the same conclusion.
Yeah.
But like it was, like I said before, like with games like Infamous, it was novel, but in the end, it's kind of like, if you're going to tell a single story, just don't like betray your main character just because you have this idea of choice.
I don't know. Well,
give me, yeah.
As long as it doesn't feel like, as long as it doesn't feel like the choices that you're making are somehow betraying the ending, then I think you get away with.
Okay.
You'll be seeing it in September, pal. Run all over Japan.
Yeah, that's right. The Rugby World Cup. Matt's like, I don't know what's going on.
No, yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I'm lost. I don't have any. I don't have any Vegas Golden Knights jerseys hanging in the back.
Yeah, well, because hockey jerseys are so fucking.
Dude, they are.
No
yeah.
one just jump into it just for
I
the
don't know.
novelty of it.
A lot of my friends have them. A lot of people I know got into it. I have a Lakers jersey, though. It's
Hey,
Evan, do you actually go outside wearing those?
I would never wear a combination of red on red. Yeah, absolutely not. No, I have a stack of hats for each of the Wisconsin teams, but I tend to keep them on the shelf. I don't actually wear hats very often, and I sleep in this Wisconsin Badgers shirt. I don't actually usually wear it outside. You must know. All right, the gimmick's up. I'm not taking my shirt off.
I should hope not. It's not that kind of podcast.
Well, actually, is it since whenever Evan's on, we actually get more viewers. Maybe you should take it off. We might get a few more.
You will get fewer viewers.
Yeah, we'll get fewer viewers if Matt and I take our shirts off.
The SNL skit with Chris Farley and what the hell is his name? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Chippendale skit with Chris Farley.
We don't get
Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze.
That's what immediately came to mind.
If you want views, speaking of red shirts, if we turn this into a snuff.
If you could just try and put that banner up behind you again, and then just fall off, and then.
Yeah, it's just like it's in a very sad ball in the corner by the bedroom right now.
All right. So, do we have anything more to say on the topic? Do we want to get into the Wisconsin conspiracy, or should we just? We've actually been streaming for an hour, so we can go ahead and call it there.
Keep it on a cliffhanger. What does that mean? I don't know what's going on anymore. Here,
we should.
People who wear red shirts drink beers
Drink
out of
from
red
red
cans.
cans.
That's what I always say.
Well,
I only or black rugby shirts with white collars. All right, Matt, you want to
Navy.
call it?
It's navy, for fuck's sake.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, hell.
Yeah. So when you see it in ultra HD, lots of big Scottish men running around against a Japanese team made up of like 4 Japanese players and a load of expats from Australia.
Basically, yes. Yeah.
I'd like to see Japan do well. I mean, I don't think they're going to hit the heights.
I'm going to see Ireland versus Russia. I think we all know who's going to win that game.
Wait a second. Russia has a rugby team?
Yeah, they qualified. They were the late qualifier for the group. It should, well, yeah. Go along, have a good time, try and learn the rules, and drink beer and have fun. And watch.
The only thing I heard was drink beer and have fun.
And on that note,
That's exactly what I'm.
I think the Beerumverate is out.